All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Wednesday. Man, it does not feel like Wednesday. But yeah, hope you guys. I like I said yesterday, I have no idea what day of the week it is still here. But yeah, hopefully you guys are having yourselves a great start to the week. Feeling good, feeling refreshed, feeling recharged, and are ready for what should hopefully be another interesting and volatile trading day. Yesterday, ton of opportunity, right? Ton of volatility out there in the market. And probably didn't take advantage of as much of it as I probably should have. Green day for sure, but should have been like just a monster day, I think, right? Based on just the range that we saw there yesterday. And so a lot of that, right, is like a reminder of honestly just not being stubborn, right? Not being too like focused on here's what I think is going to happen, and more just focusing on trading the price action that's in front of me, and not allowing like a bias, right, to keep me on the sidelines when facts are really invalidating my opinions. And so that's something that I'm working on, right? I don't want to be, like the asshole who is arguing in the like the face of reason, right? I don't want to be the irrational trader. I don't want to be any of those things. And although I think I did a relatively good job pivoting there yesterday, probably not as much as I could have. So that's definitely something to focus on here and to continue really looking towards improving and focusing here, right, as I try to, become basically the best trader I possibly can be. Now, yesterday, right, although I'm maybe not as happy on how flexible I was, probably would have wanted to be a little bit more pliable there. I am very happy with how I managed my losers, right, cut my losing trades very quickly. Closed my winning trades right as my P&L was increasing, and took advantage, right, of some opportunities, right, with some scalping ideas and scalping trades that I maybe wouldn't have wouldn't have maybe been able to take advantage of here recently. And so really happy with that sort of volatility that is in play there. So base expectation here today, right? Focus on the variables I can control. Focus on being a good loser, right? So being the best loser I possibly can be not only makes my win rate irrelevant, but it creates a margin of error for myself where I can get a practical 10 to 1, 5 to 1, 15 to 1 return on true risk when I do get paid out on my trades. And I can focus, right, on controlling those variables. So today, certainly expecting it to be a relatively interesting session. Markets are closed here tomorrow, so maybe we get like a little bit of some rushed PA here again today. And we'll see if that does end up being the scenario. From like an economic calendar perspective, right, it's nothing too crazy. We got some wholesale inventories here today, fine. We got Fed minutes here at 2. But that's going to be after I'm done trading here. So really going to just kind of be keeping an eye out on how markets want to behave. And then just from like a calendar perspective, right? We got crude oil here at 10:30. So that's going to make trading, CL maybe a little bit more challenging here today. So we'll cross that bridge here and figure it out. So good morning, everybody. Let's start setting ourselves up here for what should hopefully be a successful trading day. And then let's go from there. Someone's asking me what indicators do I use. I've got volume here set up. So I've got volume with a moving average on it. And then I have my custom DTR opening range breakout, which will look like this. Besides that, I rely on price action, candlesticks, and volume to help me identify my trading. As for someone with the 25K Apex account with your drawdown, look, I would always recommend, if this is your first day watching, learn how I trade here first. You don't need to go risk on and go full aggression and try to make it all back in one go. I would recommend spending the day paper trading, finding your flow here, and then once you have that proof of concept, right, then using your funded account, right, to then be able to trade. In general, right, if you're trading with a 25K account, you should be trading with micros and build up that buffer for yourself instead of being, say, one trade away from blowing up your account. So, yeah, my advice would be to paper trade here, get your rhythm, see if this is a trading style that matches your style, and then from there, right, be more aggressive. All right. So, ES here, team. What's the count? Let's start there. Yeah, I call it probably say a 3 for 3 here to the downside. 2.5 is gonna be the same thing, right? Because it's got pretty big volume, so it's not gonna change, right? Really, the setups that we have here. So we're going to look for an ORB fake out, then break down towards, right, pre-market lows. So 59.30, we'll say. And we'll go 59.20, 59.10, 5900. Sweet. And then if we're going to be bullish here, what would we need to see to invalidate this bullish NA? Yeah, larger volume than yesterday or a higher high relative to yesterday, right? So either breakout above yesterday's range of 60.51, which is probably going to be a little bit challenging for us to get, right? Or look for a bigger volume standard than anything we saw there yesterday, which again would be relatively challenging for us to get. So it could happen for sure, but it'd be definitely an outlier if it does. And then we don't want to anticipate too much follow through here, right? Because under this 5,900, we have more evidence of dip buyers, right, than breakdown continuations. So basically inside this zone, we can drag this box out here. It's basically all just dip buyers inside that area. So we don't want to get too aggressive chasing this bearish move. You know, potentially a sign of capitulation there yesterday. So let's see, you know, if we can get just a little bit more follow through. But generally after a big day, right, we tend to get a little bit of consolidation. So let's see, you know, if that's the case with some Fed speak on tap here today. All right, NQ, what's the count? Similar, not so similar. Yeah, very similar story. And we're targeting 200. Wow, 21.2. What a move yesterday. And then down towards 21.1, 21. Same thing, right, on that 21,000. A breakdown under that area, okay, maybe a little bit more interesting, but in between, say, that 21.2 and 21,000 on the spot, got more evidence of dip buyers than we necessarily do have of sellers. So we want to be a little bit cautious, right? Playing breakdowns. This might just be like an initial target type trade and then see how price action behaves and moves. If we can get that breakdown through 21,000, then yes, we have a pretty good expectation of this being a possible pretty big sell-off spot. But we don't need to front run that here or be hyper aggressive until we get that proven otherwise, right? So let's see how the theme of the day gets established here today, and then we can kind of go from there. All right. CL. So Green candle, right? Decreasing volume, gap down, or red candle here. So 1 out of 3. And then we got 10:30 data. So we're looking for a move here towards 75 and above, or a breakdown towards yesterday's lows, right? And then to the downside here, if I can get it, we're targeting 73, so not too much changing from that perspective. And then again, right, just generally a bit more of a cautious scenario, right, with 10:30 data. I don't tend to get very many tradable opportunities on CL going into crude inventories. Okay, Apple, 2 out of 3 here to the downside without volume. So we're looking for a breakout towards like 246, or still a breakdown here under that 241. So not too much changing from that plan there yesterday. Interesting to see that Apple didn't get kind of that big volume that we saw on NQ and ES, right? So all things considered, this thing actually held up relatively well relative to yesterday's selling pressure. And I don't know if that's necessarily a sign of strength here today, like strength to the upside, but what it is telling me that either this is going to play catch up, right? Or that it's going to be the name that leads higher faster once things reverse. So we're going to look to see which version of that narrative it is here today. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. Okay, Tesla, similar story, right? Not a very impressive volume standard here. Would like to see it probably get back up above 400, all things considered. So 390 breakout or pop back up above 415. And again, very similar story to what we just talked about there on Apple. Wasn't accompanied with the mega volume, right, that we saw in the indexes. So why wasn't one of the biggest leading names out there showing that same level of enthusiasm? Is it lagging or is it leading? And we want to see which variation of that story shows up here this morning. All right, Microsoft. Red candle, decreasing volume, gap up, right? So 1 for 3. Again, right, another leading name that isn't giving us a very strong version of trending price action compared to the indexes, right? So we're seeing a little bit of a divergence between our 3 largest market cap weightings on the indexes. So a bit of a stealth rotation there again, right? We're going to look for a 420 breakdown, nice. Or, right, a breakout over 430. And let's see where that trending price action wants to show up. Okay, Amazon. I feel like I'm repeating myself here today. I'm going to call this a 1.5 out of 3 to the downside. And we're just going to say without volume, just in case it goes 2 out of 3. So we're either looking for a breakout over 230, right? Or we're looking maybe, 221 breakdown for sure. But then this looks a little bit like the indexes where we have a dip buyer zone here. Right? We got more evidence of dip buyers inside that green box than we do have of anything else. So going to be looking for a high conviction setup, right? And then maybe not trying to front run a breakdown through that zone here too aggressively. Okay, AMD, big gap down here. this is screaming to me Bollinger Band reversal setup, right? Mega gap down, wants to fill that previous gap bottom up. That's moving in like the second most obvious way. And then if we're going to play a bearish scenario, we need to see basically that gap fill get attempted and then see bulls fail, right? So see bulls fail, then break down. Under, we'll say 124. I don't know why, but whenever I see like a bottom-up gap fill, it makes me think of eating ass. So I'm not sure what that means, but it's like the stock market version of that. All right, NVIDIA, finally a name that's kind of coinciding with a tremendous amount of volume, right? So first leading name that's giving us a huge volume profile relative to the indexes, right? So we can tell that a lot of yesterday's selling pressure is going to be coming from this lunatic, right? All-time high rejection. So NA, bull case here. And then bear case, right? Either a rejection inside yesterday's range or a breakdown here under 130, we'll call it 140. So, cool. So we finally found the culprit, right? That was creating the majority of the volume on the index level. So let's see how this goes. Okay, Meta. Week 2 out of 3 without volume. So we're looking for either a breakout over 633. Right, or a breakdown here under 605. Cool. Okay, Netflix, doji among dojis, opening up in the implied exact middle. Call it a 1.5. So we're looking for a breakout over 888. Or, right, a breakdown here under 869. Nice. Okay, Google. Rejection, right, at previous all-time highs. Kind of reminds me more of AMD than anything else. Where it wants to do that like bottom-up gap fill, right? And then to the downside, basically a gap fill and breakdown, right? Cool. And then VIX hanging out 18.72. So definitely some volatility back on the menu here, but we want to be just cautious and a little bit patient, right? And not force anything that isn't there. So primarily, right, our objective is to play the price action in front of us. And I kind of want to add a bullish scenario here, right? Pre-market to all of our names, because we saw pretty much the only leading name that got established with volume was NVIDIA. Everything else is telling us that we've got kind of non-trending or weak trending price action. And that for me seems like it's setting up as a possible reversal scenario. So I'm going to see, say, ORB fake out. Then break out towards. So we want to make sure that the leading names are also telling us that same story. And then we can go towards, 5980, 6,000 and beyond. Does that make sense? You guys understand why I'm adding that bull case here? Right, so it's pretty much only NVIDIA that gave us that true impressive volume. And that NVIDIA move ends up being capitulation. We could end up, holding bear claws in our hands and not getting any tasty treats out of it. So I'm willing to have a little bit of flexibility just based on what the internals are telling me here today. And we're targeting 21.5 and then up towards like 21.8. Any questions here, team? Hell yeah, guys. Let's have a fantastic morning. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, yesterday, right, felt a little bit more like I found my rhythm again here in the market. So let's continue to build off of that momentum. And then if there's volatility, right, we're going to have lots of opportunities. And we don't need to feel like we need to rush. So if it ends up being like a volatile morning, and I put this in my journal there yesterday, but it seems like once you get a lot of volatility, you almost need to like wait for the theme of the day to be established, and then you can scalp away. What I have found in these opportunities where there is like a very volatile start to the session, I tend to get chopped out on my first trade and then wait it out, wait for a cleaner setup once there's been like max pain established, and then I can get a nice win or two after that. So as I'm being a little bit more aggressive with the amount of decisions I'm taking on a day-to-day basis, I need to be a little bit more cautious, I should say, right, on how I'm filtering out kind of suboptimal opportunities. So waiting for the theme of the day to be established is actually probably going to set me up to be more successful than trying to catch the first, feeling that I have. So we're going to work on finding that balance here. But that's definitely something that I'm focusing on here a little bit in my own personal trading. And we'll see if we can get a nice combo there to sync up. So we have about 3.5 minutes here till market opens. So I'm just going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day. And then I'll jump back on here as the day is starting. And we'll set ourselves up for what should hopefully be a nice green day. So we'll be back at it again in a few minutes, and we'll talk then. All right, so let's get after it here. Let's see how the day wants to shape up, right? Where momentum wants to creep in here today. And then hopefully, right, we can have ourselves a fantastic trading day. And yeah, absolutely dominate whatever the market wants to give us. So slow and steady here, right? We don't need to be hyper aggressive. We don't need to rush into something if there's volatility. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to trade. So there's no real rush to do anything silly or to overtrade or to do anything nuts. The objective, right, and the emphasis that we have to put on ourselves each and every day is to remain in control. The trader that remains in control of their impulses, of their ambitions, right, of their entries, of their exits, that remains in control of being able to trade their plan, ultimately wins a lot more often than the trader that has to chase every which feeling and has to make themselves feel good by being busy or whatever it is, right? So we don't want to chase vanity metrics. We don't want to chase any of those things. We want to simply just focus on the variables we can control. And that fundamentally starts with controlling our ability to exert emotion on a daily basis. And we don't need to be in situations where we need to feel vindicated or justified or anything along those lines from the price action. We need to just trade the plan that's in front of us, avoid our obvious mistakes. And if we can do that, then the market will reward us for basically just surviving, right? It's when we, take 20 trades in a choppy day, or when we decide that, hey, this is the trade I have to go all in on, or this or that, right? That gets us into a lot of trouble. So I say this often, and I'll stress this often, right? It is the trader that remains in control that wins. And the trader that can remain in control and avoid that like tunnel vision or blackout feeling, or you can see yourself making decisions that you know you shouldn't make. When you can avoid those mistakes, essentially, that's when you set yourself up to be very, very successful as a trader. And so that should be what the emphasis is on, right? The emphasis isn't on a daily basis to make money. The emphasis on a daily basis is to control the variables you can't control and put yourself in situations where your short-term actions are matching your long-term objectives. Hate to break it to you, but you aren't one trade away from being rich. I don't think anyone here is trading with that portfolio size. And if you were trading with that size of portfolio, you'd already be rich, right? You'd already feel like as if you had that accomplishment created. But you can be one trade away from ruining your process, right? From ruining your progress, from making yourself feel as if you need to chase something that isn't there. And if we can avoid that sensation, we're going to be just fine, right? So that's what I want everyone to focus on here today, especially when markets are volatile and they're giving us a lot of opportunities. It's very easy to get that tunnel vision and to feel pot committed on a single decision. And if we can avoid that sensation, we're going to be just fine. So that's really the priority here, team, right? Remain in control. Remain in control of your impulses. Remain in control of your ambitions, and understanding that you win by making hundreds of good decisions, not by making one good decision. You can compound one good decision into hundreds of good decisions, and you can compound one bad decision into a blown account. We don't want to do that, right? That is simply just not worth it. So the emphasis that we have to focus on, right, is delaying that gratification. Sorry to be loud, I was on Discord. So the emphasis right here is on focusing on delaying that gratification, right? Allowing ourselves to understand that, hey, we aren't one trade away from accomplishing our objectives, and we have to skew our decisions, right, to focus on that long-term outcome, not that short-term feeling. I think I said this yesterday, and I'll keep repeating this, but it's easier to lose everything in a day than it is to become a millionaire in a day, right? And we have to understand that that is a simple reality here with the markets, and we can't allow our decisions to skew us towards chasing outcomes or chasing desires or chasing price action that simply isn't there. just because we want to feel as if we've justified spending the morning watching the stream, right? Or anything along those lines. Profitable traders get paid for their decisions, not their time. And if you have to delay that gratification, you're putting yourself a lot closer towards making a good decision versus not. And so that would be what I would challenge you all to do here today. Focus on how can I get better here today, not how can I make money. If you get better enough and you focus on those variables, then the money will follow. It will reward you. That is the prize you get for improving your technique and improving your skills. And yeah, if you put too much emphasis on, I need today to be a green day, I need today to be a day where I pass my evaluation, or I need today to feel like justification for waking up early to trade, you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball, right? You're not putting yourself in a situation where it's easy to be green. You're putting yourself in a situation where it's easy to lose everything because you're going to get that tunnel vision and that expectation of, hey, I need to be aggressive here today. So the more that we can fight back against those impulses, against those feelings, against those basically intrusive thoughts, easier it is for us to be green. So I want everyone to focus on that here, right? Think about individually, what's the one thing that I need to improve here? What's the one thing that I can get 1% better at today? Is it 1% better on my entries? Is it 1% better on my risk management? Is it 1% better on finding setups, right? And just put all your energy into that variable, because that will ultimately pay you so much more than trying to make 1% in your account here today. And when you do that, right? When you do focus on the quality of your decisions, I promise you the P&L will show up. It will reward you, but P&L is a lagging indicator to improving your flaws. And if you try to trade while ignoring them, right, or thinking that, hey, I can avoid them by doing X, Y, Z, you're going to struggle to accomplish your objectives. So focus on getting better. If you get just a little bit better here today, you get just a little bit better tomorrow, you get a little bit better on Friday, right, you're going to make a lot more money than if you just try to swing for that home run here today and need to get that validation of feeling successful. Does that make sense? All right, so far, not so crazy here. Probably not going to get an increasing volume standard on this 3-min bar. So just being patient, right? I don't need to be in a rush today. Oh. So maybe a little bit of TMI here, but last week I was out for a trail run in a one of the provincial parks here in Canada, and I took a really nasty fall on some ice that I didn't see and landed like right on my back on a root. And oh my gosh, man, I can't get that back pain to go away. I think I just bruised it. I don't see any bruising. But man, oh man. Has it been hurting? It was like the first time I've had a pretty bad one. No, it's just my back. And it's like the right hand side of my back. So it's not great. It's the first time it's like seriously happened. I've had a couple where I've like tripped and stumbled and stuff. But I had one of those like comic book falls where like your feet fly out from in front of you and you just fall right on like that like U type fall. John, my buddy in Austin has been sharing me a lot of propaganda to get me to move down there. So kind of like we anticipated, right? Some of our leading names aren't actually showing us a tremendous amount of selling pressure here. They're actually more looking like buying opportunities than selling opportunities. Yeah, I hear you, Gabe. I felt very old when it happened. So we have a possible green to red reversal type setup here. And immediately, right, we know this is going to be a aggressive entry technique. Maybe too aggressive. So 23 stop loss. Again, I'm being slow in how I'm setting this up, right? I don't need to feel like I'm rushing this. And I'm trying to fight back against that as much as I possibly can. For this exact reason, right? Because this is exactly what we saw happen yesterday, where it would give us like that really quick move and then like the floor would get pulled out from underneath it. And then fake out and give us a move. So I'm trying to slow down, right? And just remembering, hey, this is the way price action behaved early yesterday. It wanted to trap both sides before it made its move. So I don't need to be aggressive here. I would be hating myself right out of an entry at 46. Now getting stopped out and then this thing possibly making a lower low. So, okay, good decision, right, to basically buy time there so far. And what, if you guys think back to yesterday, what did we see act as a magnet yesterday? Yeah, VWAP for sure, but I'm thinking something a little bit different, Clark. Yeah, round numbers, right? So the 300s, the 400s, right? The 500s. We kept seeing really, really big orders, right? Stepping in and defending those areas before then eventually making a move. So again, I don't think I've missed out on anything here yet, right? But definitely starting to set up here potentially for an upside move. Okay, fine. And now we want to go stop loss 347, see where it finds support, right? If it doesn't pull back too far, we should be able to get a good entry here. Right away to 47 and then bouncing. We're going to say 45 stop loss now. Again, it feels like it's going to try to fake us out here first. Where's VWAP hanging out today? So there's that fake out, right? So now stop would have to be 338. Better. Again, another fake out lower, so I'm going to wait this thing out, not giving me a very strong reaction to what would have been possible entries. So again, right, good decision to sit on hands here and just avoid early fake outs. Talked about this to start the day off, and we're actually implementing it. So far, right, just avoided what would have been losing trades. Okay, now wants this reaction to 300. All right, does it want to pull back into that area? What do you mean by that, Adam? Or Nathan, sorry, what do you mean? How did I get those levels? What do you mean? No, stop loss will be whatever the low is of our confirmation candle or our entry candle. Ideally, right, when we're trading NQ, we want our entry to be within 25 points of our stop loss or less. 30 points, right, we'd be risking $600, which is more than my max loss that I'm willing to take. So this 475, right, is my red line here for my opening range breakout indicator. It's just 2 times whatever the size of this green box is. So this box here today is 52.5 points from the high here, right? This is going to be 105 or 104 points, right? And a little bit of some change. So it's just double whatever the green box is. So that's that initial red line. And then that 330 and that 286 is just based on the Fibonacci tool. So if I increase this or double up, I look at the Fib tool with the 0 line, the 1 line, and the 236. And this just helps me identify appropriate risk reward zones that justify me taking on that entry. So if I were to move this up, right, and say that my stop loss is now 228.75, which would be the low of this current candle, that would change those ratios, right? So it just always shows me where it's approximately 3.5 to 1 risk reward or better. And then I can look for deeper pullbacks within that context. So anywhere under that green line between that red line would be a theoretical acceptable entry. But so far, a whole lot of nothing here so far, team, right? Let's not get too carried away. yeah, that white line is generally my take profit, right? It'll really just depend on what the market is telling me, Vaughn, right? So it might take me 2 trades to get to that white line, right? To get to that profit target. Or maybe 3 trades sometimes, whatever it is. But I would say the vast majority of trades don't give me that full amount to follow through, right? Or I'm closing it before it does, and then looking for another entry to take advantage of that continuation. So far, so choppy, right? Not missed out on anything here of any significance. The only trades I would have taken, I would have been stopped out on here. Stopped out and then have seen price action move in my direction. So now we could possibly do something like this. Stop loss 328. And I'll hold past that final take profit too, right? If I get good enough volume to justify taking on that opportunity. And then I'll target these numbers, right, that are above or below. Okay. Again, fake out higher here first, right? And then pulling back. So I want to be just a little bit patient. Stop would now have to be 349. Again, my base expectation, right, is that that fakes out, because that's what we've seen here from everything so far, right? So again, just avoided some nasty price action here so far. Oh. Again, now we're going to watch around this 300 area, right? See if it bounces. It's too early for me to try to go for those aggressive scalps, right? Because we haven't seen a lot of evidence of big orders stepping in and defending these areas here yet. So for now, being pretty patient and cautious. I don't think we've established the theme of the day here yet. So again, right, sitting on hands, being the best loser I possibly can be. And sometimes that means not taking trades, right? So it's easy to not lose if I don't take on risk. I'm in my second most profitable position here at the moment, which is sitting on hands and ranting to you guys. So it's going to be dependent on each candle's first range, right? So if you're on the 5-min, the range is going to be different than the 3-min. If you're on the 10-min, it's going to be different, right? So each time frame, David, has its own independent opening range size. If you want to send me a screenshot via Discord, I'll be able to answer with more clarity. Yeah, in general, any FOMC day, any day where there's Fed minutes or Fed speak tends to be a max pain day until you get some clarity. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's more of a positioning trade in the morning versus a trend creating trade, right? Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't recommend trading during those algo Fed moves. It's really going to the roulette table. And it loves to just stop you out and reverse, right? So you close your position and then it reverses on you, right? And you get on that like tilt machine of trying to make back the P&L you would have gotten if you just didn't close your trade. So it just encourages very emotional decision making, which tends to never be rewarded by the market. We have 3 minutes here now to market data as well. All right, so we got some 10 a.m. data here today. Wholesale inventory is not the biggest of movers. Well, you never know. Oh, David, you have pre-market data on? So what you want to do here is go into session and click regular trading hours. You have it set as electronic trading hours here at the moment. So you want to change that to regular trading hours, and then it should sync up. So again, guys, we have not objectively missed anything here yet, right? Only seen fake outs. So it's easy to sit on hands, right? Ugh, excuse me. So now 2 seconds. Let's see how it reacts to data. Not really a reaction. Keeps getting rejected right inside this box. So we'd like to see any breakout to hold above that area and basically invalidate those bears, right, that keep finding a little bit of support there. But so far, yeah, absolutely a chop fest. Now, that's okay. I don't mind sitting on hands if that's the case, right? Markets are closed tomorrow, so worst case scenario, you finish the day early, you go enjoy your life for a little bit. Okay, there she goes. So now let's see if this thing can hold, right? Has to, at the very bare minimum, hold above 385. It did. So now let's see if that 385 acts as support. And you're looking at something like this, right? Which one, Nathan? So starting to watch here, NQ, right? Starting to watch. Okay, again, voiding fake outs. So now you want stop 381-ish. Where did this price action get stuffed? Where did it get stuffed? Yeah, I got stuffed right at 400. Yeah, I got stuffed right at the psych level. Again, right? Probably makes us want to delay that gratification, right? Wait for that opportunity. Send me an email, Nathan, Michael at dtrtrading.com, and I'll see what perks you have. Again, not missed out on anything here. Yeah, just let me finish the trading day, then I'll take a look, man. Just bear with me for a little bit here. This thing is bouncing like 10 points higher, 10 points lower, 10 points higher, 10 points lower. It is gross. It's doing the same thing on NQ as well, right? So it doesn't really make a difference. Again, bouncing at the psych level. It's basically going from 300 to 400, from 300 to 400. So I'm sitting here, I'm not seeing too much reason to be aggressive here still. So same thing, right, that we wanted to see here on this initial breakout. We want to see any high volume breakdown occur under 286. All right, so we got to close under this yellow line on increasing volume. Maybe have a chance. Definitely on the 5-min. Same thing on the 3. 5-min's a little bit more appealing, so you got more range. Yeah, so far so good here, Kiki. So far so good. Okay, so 30 seconds to go here, team, right? Looking for a possible downside rejection. Don't want to see this thing pull back too much. Okay, so good close. Can't pull back too far. That's not that weird. Can't pull back too far here. So stop loss 259. Okay, good rejection here. Now it's got to pull back. Okay, guys, I am in short. Average price, $251. Stop at 259. It's 2 contracts. Oh, frick. Okay. Oh, I didn't protect that well enough. It's so annoying. Trying to type instead of manage my trade. So this trade should have been green on, right? Because it was up more than 2R on this position. And I simply did not close it because I was trying to type in this order. That's not good. Nice work, Kiki. Yeah, that's what I should have done. I wish I could just have a way of saying what I'm in and it just shows up on the screen, the window, because it's cost me some money here today. Fuck. Have a possible setup here on ES. High vol reversal. Stop loss would be 230.50. Sorry, 930.50. I don't want to say 230.50. So I'm watching ES here to the upside. too fast of a pullback here. Okay, ES back in play. $268 would have to be the stop. Well, actually, now stop loss would be 303. We need to see a pullback into 281 or above. Okay, I'm targeting 200 here, right? Be a one contract play. Fuck. Come on. Okay, so back to watching here, right on this pullback. It's got to be above 278 and within $500 worth of risk, right? Okay, guys, that's my entry right there in at 282.75. Sorry, stop at 303. Took the stop again. Fuck me. That was nasty. Yeah, possibly Nick too fast up there. I would disagree. That's what I have in my notes here. Maybe pulled back too fast. Again, it's a bit cruel. So one trade should have been green on. One trade I took the loss on. Sounds good, Kiki. Hey, well done. Small win on the day. Should be thrilled. Not an easy day here whatsoever, so well done. And it's a little fake out and breakdown here again. That's mean. Okay, 5 seconds till crude oil inventories. possibly thinking about here a long. Fake out lower, right? Bounce back above 300. Yeah, that's on the inventories, right, Sammy? That's on the crude oil inventories. Okay, so watching here for a possible long scenario still. Stop would be 272.50. Okay, guys, I am in 2 contracts, 281.25. I might have to close this right away. Two contracts long. So far, so good here. I don't know why I didn't just wait for this to begin with. Okay, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going. Would like to see it separate and hold above 300 here now. Has to hold and separate above. Okay, I'm out at 296. Out at 296. We'll try this again here potentially. Dumb. So I left a lot of money on the table there. Oh boy. Oh. No, it's not FOMO. I mean, I understand my decision. For me, Sammy, with so much algo action on this, I'm very nervous about getting faked out. So I would stay away from it. There's more than enough volatility on these other names to be able to get that look. Now, if you think you can get a good enough risk-reward ratio and enough of a pullback to justify your sizing, yeah, you definitely have a clear setup here. But I'm always a little bit cautious about trading in that wash, right? Well, you just know it's going to be a lot of algo activity still, right? So it just creates challenging prices. Now, I'm not saying you can't do it, right? But just to get the sizing that I would want on something like this here now would be challenging. Nice work, Jared. It's a great win, man. That's $1,000. Let's go. So I'm still down about $200 on the day here. Kind of now feel like I'm in my kill zone now, though. So it's not that it can't, right? But this is what I'm worried about, right? Fake outs in a ton of directions. You just get a lot of backwash, right? I'll be back in a second. Right, like this is exactly why, Sammy, right? It's just backwash. This is very similar to that original thesis. Now, one thing I don't like about this It's gonna be different on each day, right? So I don't know if I have like a specific time frame for how long it takes. It just in general on those days where you're expecting a lot of algo action to show up, right, and reacting to news, I generally don't want to trade that price action because the algo flow showing up just creates very called suspicious, right, conditions. Yeah, I mean CL is the one that had crude oil inventories at 10:30, right? That's what that data is. So yeah, it's on CL here specifically today. It's the same thing. Like I wouldn't trade, NQ or ES post FOMC, for example, right? For that same reason. Now on like 10 a.m. data, it's not going to be a huge mover, right? But on crude oil inventories, that's, the most important data for that. Yeah, markets are closed tomorrow for Jimmy Carter Memorial Day. That's the way she goes. Okay, so again, you're watching around this 300 area here, right? How does price action behave on a pullback into that zone? Similar to what we did yesterday, right? On that move under 400. See how it went from 298 to 308 in a second, right? Means that there's a big order, right, defending that 300 area. So let's see if we can see it again. And this is a trade, right, where you're either green right away or you're getting out. So yeah, CL is just a tricky mistress here. Still no reason to look at that. So 1 for 3 here so far on the day, down 200-ish bucks. So fine. Okay, watching again here closely. Still think we can get a deeper one than that. Okay, guys, I'm in 291. 291. Okay, and I'm out at 301. Boom. Let's go. Okay, and now we'll try this again, right? So that puts me nicely green on the day here now. Oh. That was 2 contracts. And it's either I'm green right away or I'm getting out, right? So I'm going to look to take like $200 loss there if I'm wrong, right? So either it bounces right away and I get out, right? And close it for that quick scalp, or, right, it sells off further and I get out. So it's playing getting the immediate reaction, right? And I'm only interested in doing that, right? Because as it's pulling back into that psychological level, right? Consistently decreasing volume, right? Lowest volume of the day. So I'm seeing weak bears. So the thesis here, right, is strong bulls. We've seen evidence of them defending that 300 zone for a big bounce. And then we're seeing a pullback, right, on low volume into that psychological area. So then that big order, right, that's then defending that 300 zone or that psych zone is going to wipe out all those weak bears, and we should get a pretty immediate bounce. So that's what the thesis is on that setup, right? You see a weak pullback into an area where you've seen an algo defense essentially happen, or like a big hanging order defense happen. And so you just wipe out all those selling orders and boom, rocket ship up. Now, okay, again, could have held on for an extra 30 points, but I'm not playing for that extended move here. I'm just playing for that quick reaction right? Have the right idea, and then if it gives me a good volume separation, if this is okay, then I can look for that continuation towards high of day and re-jump in. Get it? So now we'd be looking for a stop 328. Again, assume fake out until proven otherwise. Okay, looking good. So now as we get a little pullback here. Little bit too fast of a drop, right? A little bit too fast of a drop. So let it reestablish strength again. Okay, good. At this sizing, right, this would be one contract. Man, I'm getting brutalized with these rips. Nice work, Jack. 820 bucks is fantastic. Let's go. Again, good volume here, so we could still possibly set this thing up. Again, little gentle pullback here. This would be a one contract play. Okay, so same thing here, just now on the 5. See where it finds support. Where's VWAP? A little bit further away. Maybe you could do that. That would be pretty appealing. Stop at 315. It's the Fibonacci tool. So I just have my fib tool set as the 0, the 1, and the 236, and draw from my profit target to stop loss. And so it just helps me visualize my risk reward zones. Okay, still watching here. Hard to play the aggressive technique, so I still think I need to see the pullback. Okay, we'll be able to get a tighter risk reward entry here. Still an inside bar. So stop for now, 336.50. Okay, never mind. It's going to be higher. Stop is going to now be 348. Okay, there's the fake out. Let's see if it finds support. Now 344. Don't want to see it pull back much more. Okay. Did make a higher high, I think, so I got to stay away. Stay away on a deeper pullback, right? Pull back into this 316. If it's going to go from here, it needs to go. I don't want to see it really making a lower low and then going. Doesn't feel particularly bullish. Okay, so for now, 337. Kind of looking like ass. Okay, no bullish setup here. No bullish setup. Okay, so back to a possible either bearish scenario, right? If we can get a high volume hold under 300, right? Or towards 300, or a potential bounce scenario, right? If we can get that low vol reversal thing going again. Okay, so for now, we'd be targeting towards low of day here. So 329 stop. Again, expect it to fake out before it makes the move. So buy yourself time to make this decision, right? You don't need to be hyper aggressive here. Okay, 332.75 now. Don't really want to see it going much higher than that. Do have a little bit of space we can go up to. Maybe 338 at its max. Like, I'd like to see previous area of support act as resistance as like a Alamo. Okay. So now stop 334. Okay. So guys, I am in short 323.75, 2 contracts. Come on. So far, so good here. So far, so good. See if we can get that flush through 300. Okay, I'm out. I don't like that bounce. Close price 314. Close price 314. We'll try this again, potentially, right? It's kind of been the theme here for me a little bit. Getting shaken on some of these low vol moves, but just stacking up these base hits. Turning into a nice day here all of a sudden, right? It's the second time that's happened to me here now, where like the low vol bounce has kind of tricked me into closing early and then it runs big. But that's all right. Still stacking up wins here. 383.71 on that trade. We'll keep taking them. Like, I'm not going to complain about closing it on that low volume, right? Because if it gets stopped at 289 versus if it gets stopped at 306, we don't know that, right? So we're closing, resetting, and getting impartial again. Right? It's the second. We got to get good at the second a trade no longer feels like it's giving us that correct reaction. We get out and reset because we don't know, right, how quickly it's going to get back to entry price. We don't know how quickly it's going to keep following through. The base idea, right, is the second we see something that tells us price action is no longer strong, we can't emotionally attach ourselves thinking that, hey, we're going to get lucky, right? Because now if you held to 286 and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be green here, this thing's going to go forever, and now you're at 326.50, you feel way worse than closing that trade early, right? So it was ultimately the right decision, even though we didn't maximize P&L there. All right, printed a pretty textbook reversal scenario. So again, we're playing back to playing these small ranges. And if a trade is strong, Michael, right, it'll always give us another chance to enter, right? We didn't miss out on Bupkis there. Okay, so now stop 308.05, right? And you guys should see the snowstorm outside right now. Holy, it's crazier than the price action. Ooh, faster move than I wanted. Just maybe could do this now. 318 stop. So yeah, closing early wasn't the wrong call. Okay, maybe we could have gotten 20 extra points. But that feeling of, hey, low vol pullback into psychological area. We've seen that bounce here before. To not trust that it's going to be different this time saved us a tremendous amount of mental capital, right? So did I make absolutely as much money as I possibly could have on that trade? No. Did I prevent myself from going on tilt by being proactive, not reactive? Yes, right? And now, because I closed that, protected my mental capital, I'm in play and have like the bandwidth to be able to take another trade, right? So the second price action no longer feels the way that you would define strength. You're admitting to yourself that you need to get outlier or lucky, right, to make money. And once you do that, right, you're essentially gambling on the outcome of that position. And look, I love gambling. I love playing at the casino. But I'm not playing at the casino with hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? I'm playing with 200 bucks. So it's a little bit of a different game, right? So I'm not willing to put my hard-earned money at risk on a gambling feeling. I'm going to play my system and be a psycho about that because that makes me a lot more money long term. You understand? So if we just keep taking these base hits, right? Base hit, base hit, base hit, life is good. So we got 2 losses, 3 wins, right? Wins of 588, 400, and 383. Losses of 301 and 404. So nicely green here on the day. I think just stacking up base hits, right? Stack them up. Honestly, love this scalping. It's so much fun. Love it, John. So I'm still watching here to the upside. 317.50 is the stop, right? I need to see under 338 and ideally deeper than that. I would love to be able to get 2 contracts here. Okay, so I'm in 329 entry. It's gotta move quick here. Come on, get over 40. It's struggling. So I'm out, guys, at 40. I am out at 40. And a good call that was. Woo! Actually, fill price $339.50. Fill price $339.50. So again, right, just stacking up these base hits, right? Yeah, Nathan, I told you, man, I'm going to get back to you once my trading day is done, right? Please just give me some time to focus on the thing that actually makes me money. And I told you I will get back to you. I'm going to do that. But for me, this is more important, man, than me getting you a free indicator. So again, I think that was the right call on that trade. Good day this is turning into, right? Turning into a good day. Just taking those base hits. Again, once the theme of the day gets established, easy to find the rhythm. Maybe a little bit here front running that initial theme. And that's making me start with like a little bit of a hole, right? So something I need to continue to focus on here a little bit. You know, started the day down $706, give or take. And then since then, it's been green, 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 green. How's everyone feeling? Yeah, first two trades for me as well, right? We're red. But now up $1,000 here on the day. 1,055.66 per account. Cannot complain about that. Guys all green? Team green? Debating if I need to take any more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 for 6 on the day. Nice work, Kyle. CL, wow. Kind of looks like an ascending wedge pattern here. Pretty shit ball. It's 11:20. Um, like reject off here, potentially. I mean, since this big sell-off in the morning, it's been just climb higher, higher, higher. So I'm not sure if I'd be super aggressive to want to short until I can get closer towards 400. Because that's been the theme we've seen, right? Bounces under 300, go up towards 4. I would be a little bit pessimistic of anything in between. Obviously, it doesn't mean it can't. I would say also, David, right, the difference between this potential rejection here at 370 versus the scalp that we did here off of 300 is the volume, right, that touched right prior to now this current candle was on increasing volume. Whereas on this like 1039 to 1045 bit of price action, each candle is showing us less and less momentum. So had this one, this 1121, kind of looked more similar to that 1045. Easier to play that type of thesis. But I have no evidence, right, that bears are in control prior to now price action behaving the way it has. You get what I mean? So I had less evidence of weak bulls going into that area. Here I at least had more evidence of bears failing. So again, now if we get a big volume standard, right, bearish engulfing candle, bearish engulfing on volume, right, that could start to become a scenario where we have an indication that bears are back in control. Now I'll be close with 5 seconds to go. So didn't do so on increasing volume there. Maybe on the 5-minute would. Nice work, Ran. That's awesome. Congratulations. $545 a day. Definitely keeps the day job away. Hey, Rusty, good day here so far. 4 for 6. Just playing small scalps pretty much. How about yourself? Hey, that sounds fun. We've been dealing with a swamp here too. Been pretty gross price action. We got to drain the swamp here today. So what I want to keep stressing here, team, right? Okay, today I had 2 losses. One was 20% less than a max loss. One was about 40% less than a max loss. So all that does, right, by getting comfortable either buying deeper pullbacks, right, and losing less, or sizing down and losing less, all that does is it increases my probability of still being able to finish the day green, right? So even though today I didn't have any massive wins, I didn't have any tremendous amount to follow through, I've been dealing with 10, 15, 20 point wins. I'm able to stack those up, and I'm not having to dig myself out of like a 10-foot grave, right? So I'm increasing my probability of finishing the day in the green. I'm maximizing that potential instead of hoping that, hey, that trade or that singular outcome is going to be the result that bails me out, right? So instead of trusting that my losers are going to turn into winners, I'm trusting my strategy and basically my risk management system to be able to get me to a green day by making the variance larger, right? So by having a larger sample size with smaller losers, the more I can survive basically the short-term ups and downs. But if I make each of those ups and downs $1,000, $1,500, $600, whatever it is, well, now I need twice as many trades, right, to be green. So instead of putting faith that my current trade is gonna go green, I'm putting faith that more likely than not, my next trade, right, is going to set me up to be green. And if I lose less on that initial loss, right, or on that initial trade, I increase the probabilities of that next trade being able to bail me out, right? So that's all I'm doing. That's why losing small pairs well with taking more trades, because you can survive the ups and downs of your strategy. And in theory, right, it should create a higher proportionate amount of green days, even if your win rate isn't as high as it previously could have been, right? And today for sure probably left, I don't know, $1,500 on the table, maybe more per account. So there's still a lot of improvement to be had here that I haven't perfected, right? So we've got a really good structure. Now it's about basically making it fancy and improving it and getting better and really juicing the odds in our favor. So when I talk about losing small, being a good loser actually sets you up to be green. Today, yesterday, good examples of that. Monday, I didn't do as good of a job of losing small as I did today and I did yesterday, right? And that's the difference. We all get that? It could, but this has been dying all day long here. So I would rather see it find support maybe off of 73, right? Yesterday's lows, whatever it might be. I'm not super motivated in trying to catch a falling knife on this. because I'm not really at any long-term support. And truth be told, David, like I haven't been watching CL's price action very closely here today. So I don't know its like intraday personality. So I'm not sure if there's enough information there for me to want to justify taking on any risk. So yeah, good reversal candle, good possible scenario. But I would like to see it probably happen a little bit lower if I'm going to trust that. Or I needed to have been paying attention more to be able to justify if that was a good reaction or not. I don't really have any daily context on that. So because I don't know, I'm going to stay away. I've been watching NQ like a hawk here. She's my baby. She's my favorite. And I kind of understand its temper tantrums a little bit better than I do CL's. Nice work. Nice work, Mike. 9 green days in a row. You should be thrilled, man. Shows the power of risk management. I love that. Congratulations. Frickin' awesome. Okay, so now we can maybe start to look at NQ again here. But now you've learned a very important lesson, right, Mike? Just how important that losing small is, how important it is to remain in control. And you've chosen to behave differently at this fork in the road. So, lesson learned, right? Chicken not burnt. Sounds good. Markets are closed tomorrow, right? Markets are closed tomorrow, so no stream. All right, let's see if NQ is going to have the legs here. Needs to hold above 400, ideally above 407. Oh my gosh. Feels like minus 23 Celsius outside. Someone end me now. Oh. Cayman, congratulations, man. 1,700 bucks on the day. Let's go. Freaking awesome. All right, guys. I don't think I'm going to place any further trades here. So any questions here, team? Any questions? Love it, John. And yeah, you know, we're having to work for a living here recently. But that isn't a bad thing, right? ES is possibly setting up. That's probably the only thing that would be appealing. I'm not sure if it's worth it. Time of day is not very indicative of it holding and sustaining new highs. So I'm going to walk away. I'm going to make that decision. All right, team. Any questions? Final call here. Final call for questions. Hey, happy to help, Andrew. Helps me get better too. And yeah, sorry for being a grumpy prick sometimes, but I just share every thought I have. Any other questions, team? Any other questions? Sounds good, Jeff. See you on Friday as well. Let's go, Alfred. 1,600 bucks on the day. Congratulations. Well done. Hey, $1,000 on the day, Glenn. Hard work, but that's worth it, man. Most day jobs won't pay you that, tell you that much for 2 hours. Should be thrilled. That's awesome. Love to see the team adapting and improving. Honestly, guys, puts a huge smile on my face, too. All right, team. Well, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. For those of you who have one-on-one calls scheduled tomorrow, those will still be a go. If you guys want to have a one-on-one and you haven't booked a slot, just send me a message. I should be kind of hanging out in the morning. So don't hesitate to reach out and we can set something up. But well done here today, team. We had to work hard, but man, oh man, was it worth it. Well done, everybody. All right, guys, have yourselves a great rest of the day, and I'll see you all on Friday. Peace.